Hey, what's up, guys and gals? Hope you're having a great day, just as I am. Today, we're going to do a crash course on Ableton Live so you can get your live backing tracks up and running super quick. So let's boot up Ableton Live and take a look under the hood. So I'm running Ableton Live 9 Suite. There's three different versions of Ableton Live. There's the intro, standard, and suite version. They're all great. They're different price points and offer different features. Suite's the full version, and intro is like the light version. And obviously, it's a lot cheaper. Everything we cover in this course can be done in any of the different versions. So whatever works with your budget. The only thing that won't work is the video and picture content won't work in the intro version. Other than that, everything else works the same in all the different versions. So cool. So this is the, actually here, let me open these panes here. Usually, this is the default layout of Ableton Live when you boot up a new session. Looks like there's a lot of stuff going on, because there is a lot of stuff going on, but a lot of it we can probably just eliminate and simplify. So I'm going to run you through some of the quick details. Right over here, we have our browser. This is where we can access samples, plugins, effects, crap like that. If we don't need that, which today we don't need that, I'm just going to hit the arrow here and close that. Same thing with over here, we have our file manager. This is something we don't need to use at all, at least not today. We can come back to it at a later date, but I'm going to grab the handle here and just close it. So automatically things are looking a little bit simpler and cleaner. We can do the exact same thing with the bottom here too if we want to, and close that, other than we're going to be using this a little bit. So why don't we just leave it open? So in Ableton Live, there's two main views. Right now we're looking at session view, which lays out everything in lists here, and you can list different clips. So you could have like a verse shaker, chorus shaker, verse synth, pre-chorus, synth, whatever, you know? And that's a bit of a different way of laying things out. This is more of like a DJ's layout. A lot of DJs really like this view. I don't use this at all. I'm not a DJ. So I like to use the arrangement view. So right now we're looking at session view. If I go up to the top right here and click here, this allows us to look at arrangement view. So we get lanes of different channels. So this looks a lot more like a traditional DAW, like Pro Tools or Logic. I come from a Pro Tools background, so to me this just looks so much more appealing, and it's a lot more easy to use. So you can totally set up tracks in session view also, but in terms of this course, we're going to stick to this. So if you want to toggle between the two, if you hit tab on your keyboard, you can just toggle back and forth between them. So I'm going to delete some of these channels just so we can build right from the ground up. So usually it comes with 2 MIDI channels, 2 audio channels, and then a couple return tracks. That's just sort of default what Ableton does. So I'm going to select the first one, just hit delete. I'm going to get rid of, it won't let me get rid of every single channel. So I'm just going to delete everything but one audio channel. So, and since in this course we're going to be using mostly audio, we're going to stick to using audio channels instead of MIDI channels. So here we have like our track info, our title. If we want to rename, we just highlight there, hit Command R, and type in a name of the track. So let's just name it Click for the heck of it. And then next to it, we have our track mixer. So we have, this is like a mute button. It activates the channel. So instead of them having a mute button, you can just turn on and off the channel there. You have a solo, record arm, pan. If I select this and drag up and down, I have a pan, and then we have volume next to it. So I'm not going to go over every single little detail about this program. What's really cool about Ableton Live, probably the coolest feature, is that if I hover my cursor above any feature in this program, in the bottom left here, we have our info view, which will tell us exactly what that button or what that feature does, which is really cool. I use it all the time. I pretty much just taught myself Ableton Live through messing around, tinkering, and finding out what everything does. So just for example, I hover over the play button. It tells me exactly what it does. If you don't know what a play button is, that's how you know. Same thing over here. Hover over here, tells us in the bottom here, tap tempo, and it gives us a description, how it works, why, how to use it. So I'm not going to teach you every single little detail. I'm going to go through a lot of the practical stuff that I use every day, and you can probably figure out a lot of it on your own outside of that. So yeah, so anyways, so we have our track view here. We're looking, this lane here, this line we see is automation. So we can click and drag, and if we want to do volume or panning automation, we'll get into that later. And then yeah, we can control what kind of automation we're viewing here, and yeah, like right there. And then our track mixer. What we do want to add here is we're going to go up to view and add our IO, or our in-out. So right now it tells us right here, we can choose an input for this channel, and then we can choose an output. So it defaults to output to the master. So we have a master channel down here. I'm going to open up. This is default. This stays here all the time. So any channel you create is going to default to go to the master channel. So, and then just like the rest of the channels, we have a volume and pan and everything right on the master there. So that's really handy. We have our ruler here, so we can see what bar we're at what part of the song, which is really handy. If we hover right above our ruler, we get our zoom function, so we can click and drag up and down to zoom in and out on a specific part of the song. So if we want to zoom in right here on 45, we just sort of zoom in. We can shuffle back and forth on the song this way too, just by using our trackpad. Just below the ruler, we get a speaker icon, and if I click, it's going to play exactly from wherever I'm hovering that speaker over top of. That's really cool too. I use that all the time. So right now, anywhere I click here on our timeline is snapping right to the grid. It's just snapping right to the bar line. And that's really handy sometimes, but other times we're going to want to grab our audio file and we're going to want to drag it a little bit. Maybe it's just a little out of time and we just want to shimmy it just a little early. If we go up to options here, we can turn our snap to grid function off, and now I can select anywhere in between the bar lines, which is really handy. So I go back and forth between those a lot. You can turn that on and off. There's a quick key, Command 4, that'll turn that on and off, which is really cool. If you want to create a new audio file or MIDI file, we go up to create here, and we have insert audio track, insert MIDI track, insert return track, and there's quick keys for all those. Command T is one I use all the time. And then as usual here, we have our cut, paste, split, consolidate, all that sort of stuff. We can go over some of that stuff later. And then obviously our save function, Command S. Make sure to always Command S. Every time you make some important changes, Command S. Super important. I've lost work here and there, and it sucks having to rebuild it. So never forget Command S. Okay, so that's a quick crash course in all of this. Stay tuned. Next lesson, we're going to go in and we're going to import some audio and start building our backing tracks. All right, see you guys.